Tom, are you okay?
I lost her.
Her?
She was going to be this epic, trilogy-worthy character. I was going to be the hottest writer in Hollywood. But I can't get past Act 1!
You need some writers group therapy. Hello, and welcome to Writers Group Therapy.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Rachanee. We're writers helping writers. Are you ready for your session? The doctors are in. So, where did you go to school?
I went to Indiana University.
And you studied?
Well, I started in music, switched to journalism after a couple of years.
Oh yeah, me too. I was journalism, Michigan State.
Yeah.
Yeah, were you print and broadcast?
I guess I was magazine, I think was the track I was on.
Oh, okay.
But it kind of was a weird path because I wound up working in visual communications and started in graphics and stuff. So I didn't actually become a journalist right after that. I think I wrote half a dozen articles for the campus newspaper, and that was the end of my journalism career.
Oh no! Wow, I was
Yeah.
a journalist with more of a slant towards photojournalism, but
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah, I went into marketing and advertising. So, I used kind of the visual communication side of that. So then I decided to become a screenwriter 20 years later, or whatever it was. Have not studied it at all. I read Save the Cat and a couple other books and started writing.
Mhm.
And I need more help.
It's funny for me, like, I mean, I've always been a writer because, journalism and creative writing, but I never really exercised that muscle, and then I came out here and I met with, he wasn't really an acting coach, he was more like a acting career coach, if that makes sense. And I remember he said to me, like, "Why don't you just write your own things?" And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "You've read enough scripts. I'm sure you know how to do it." And he was right. Like, that was basically my school. Was I was already a working actor, so now I know what a script looks like, and that's kind of how I
Mm-hmm.
started. Yeah.
Well, we've talked about my experience with getting notes and what have you, and one of them was to read more scripts. So I have been doing that,
Mhm.
and so that's kind of helped me along the way. I've been, reading some really good scripts, and you really start to see how award-winning movies get written, and it helps. But I don't want to go to college again. I don't want to go to. I'm too old for that. Although, at 49. They do have classes at USC or whatever, UCLA Extension kind of stuff. You ever think
But
about
it's
doing those?
expensive. I did debate UCLA Extension, but well, it is expensive. It's a big time commitment, and I also don't wanna commute down there.
Yeah, I know what you mean there.
Yeah, yeah. And okay, so a couple weeks ago, I got like super sick. I was basically sick for all of April. And so I contacted you and I was like, hey, we've been debating Masterclass for like 6 months. Let's do it. So we both signed up for Masterclass.
Yes, we're in class together virtually, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was attracted because of the Shonda Rhimes class, which I have not started
hmm
yet, but that was the one for me that tipped me over. Which one caught your eye?
The one I'm working on now is the storytelling with Neil Gaiman, and
Ooh.
I've seen movies and TV shows based on his work, but I actually never read him before, and he is just a wonderful teacher. And if you haven't done Masterclass, these are videos of these professionals basically kind of lecturing on the various topics. And I think this class is 19 lessons. Each lesson is anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes or so long. And there is a workbook with all kinds of exercises and things you're supposed to do with the lessons.
Wait, have you seen American Gods, though?
Not yet, no.
Okay, and you probably haven't read the book.
Nope.
Okay, because I was gonna say that's his thing.
Yeah. My list of things to watch and read is very long, but I really makes me want to read more of his stuff. And they do include excerpts and chapters and stuff in the workbook. So it's really amazing. How's your class going?
I'm taking the Steve Martin class, and so that was about 22 lessons long. It's kind of a mixed bag for me at this point, just because it is comedy, which is one of the things that I like to specialize in. but it's more stand-up comedy at this point. I'm only about halfway through the classes.
Ah,
There are a few things about writing later on, but a lot of it is just geared towards, stand-up comedy, performing, the art of a stand-up joke. And
yeah,
so it's useful in a broad sense, but it's not screenwriting, and so it's not quite yet where I can find it like 100% useful. It's inspirational more than anything, I think, for me at this point.
yeah. As Steve Martin used to joke, comedy is all about timing. I mean, timing, timing.
He is funny. Like, he has excerpts of some of his old routines and stuff, and it's fun to watch. And it's interesting to think of how much comedy has evolved and changed since from the time when he was doing stand up to what's funny now.
It'd be interesting to, yeah, I'd want to listen to that and hear what he has to say about the evolution of comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But it's really cool. I think are you doing multiple classes? Because I'm just focusing one at a time.
I'm only trying to focus on one at a time. It's great that you can do this at your own pace. It's on the iPhone, the iPad, the computer. So I've been taking my iPad to work with me, and if I have, a 10 or 15-minute break, I can, watch a lesson.
Mhm.
It's pretty convenient, and the quality is extremely good. The video
Yeah.
quality of the presentations.
And it's nice because it's bite-sized. Like, 20 minutes is not, "Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here listening to this for hours and hours." 20 minutes is like you can do a few errands around the house or something, and then get on with your
Yeah.
day.
But once I get done with this one, I've got queued up. Aaron Sorkin teaches screenwriting.
Oh, that'll be good.
I've always struggled with comedy, so I would like to do the Steve Martin one. And Judd Apatow has a new session. I think they just added recently.
Mhm.
And I've always wondered if I should direct my own stuff. So I want to do the Ron Howard teaches directing class.
Wow, you know
These
your
are such
plate.
huge, they're such huge names, though. I mean, how can
Yeah,
you imagine getting? And it's what was it? It was like $180 for the year, I think,
for the year, yeah.
for a whole year, and you have all these like, I mean, we're talking A plus plus people, teaching you how to do what they're doing. It's amazing.
So and, honestly, like, so I think the next one I'm gonna queue up is Shonda Rhimes. I should've just started with that one because that was the one I wanted so bad. But there's some interesting ones too, like, I forget the names of some of the people, but there's one guy who teaches poker.
Yeah, I saw
Have you seen
that.
that one? Yeah, and I'm like, "Oh, that looks cool," and I think they have a chef, I forget which chef, but, like, he talks about.
There's a couple of Gordon Ramsays on there
Mhm.
from Kitchen Nightmares. Yeah, you can learn cooking from him. I don't know if it's actually a cooking lessons, like where he actually shows you how to cook, but the variety of things on there is just amazing.
Yeah,
Martin
that's what
Scorsese
exactly why
has
I'm
one
so.
also. Yeah,
Yeah. So it's not just geared to filmmakers and writers and, stuff like that. It's useful for us, obviously, but
they
it's
have
not just geared
categories
to.
in outside of the theater business or the entertainment business. They've got politics, business, design, film, music, and entertainment, obviously, and then science. Even they have a guy who teaches space exploration.
Ooh, that'll be
Yeah,
interesting. And what's really funny is, so, like, I'm doing this masterclass thing, and then my husband is doing some, I don't even know, like, Microsoft, something about Microsoft One. Is it One Suite, or I don't know, something
yeah,
Microsoft and some computer program on lynda.com, and I'm, like, listening to mine, I'm like, "Ooh, this is interesting," and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so bored," with whatever it is he's watching about Microsoft. So I'm like, "I
yeah.
got the better deal here."
That is a good platform, though. I've used lynda.com many times. When we were doing reclamation, I spent a month doing After Effects classes on there so I could do some of the effects in reclamation myself and save a few $1,000s. So that whatever, $25 a month with lynda.com is actually really worthwhile too.
Or you can get it for free through your library.
Ooh, you can?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
didn't know that.
A lot of people, I didn't even know how popular lynda.com was until, like, people would come in and be like, "Oh my gosh, how do I sign up for this thing?" So, yeah, get it through your local library.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tom, that it's too late for you.
Oh, but it was fine. It was worth it. Paid for itself over and over again. But these are just a couple of things that you can do as a like I as a mature writer trying to get into the business who has to work full time to pay the bills and what have you, and we all have to do that obviously. But you still want to work on your craft and improve, but these are some really new, exciting ways to do that without spending too much money.
And honestly, I think the deal is really good. 180 for access to all of the classes cuz one class alone is $90.
Yeah,
So basically for the price of two classes, you're getting I don't even know how many classes they have on there, 50
yeah,
or 100 or whatever. It just seems like they're constantly adding. So,
yeah. And we don't ever, by the way, we're not getting a kickback from them. They did not ask us to do this or pay us to say any of this
no,
stuff.
we just
Yeah,
wanted we were both just like, "Ooh, we wanted to try it out." And it's interesting because I feel like you really can't find a lot of reviews out there about it. I mean, I did a lot of research. I was looking at the Annie Leibovitz class, and people talk about it, but they don't really give
yeah,
in-depth reviews. We're just getting started on our masterclass journey, so we're gonna revisit in a few weeks or months or something and talk more about all
yeah.
the classes we're taking. But so far, it's been very interesting.
Yeah, I think the only place I saw it advertised was like in social media. It was like the weirdest place of all things. Like it would get pop up in my Facebook feed, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, or on Instagram.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Hmm.
definitely worth checking out. Or maybe if ask somebody for a gift, for a gift pass,
I want to say if anyone out there has any other good resources for educating yourself in the industry, share them with us. We'd like to hear about them.
especially if they're free. Let us know at WG Therapy. You can also find us online at writersgrouptherapy.com. You can find us individually at,
Tom_Loveman on Twitter and Tom Loveman on Instagram.
and I'm at Rachanee on Twitter and at Moonlily Music on Instagram. And if you like what you hear, subscribe, share this with your friends, and we will see you next week.